Welcome back to the show. We got a great one lined up for you, ladies and gentlemen. The Clarity Act. Will Bitnomial use Hidden Road in GTreasury? Well, I've got something for you. How about XRP resistance for 2025? Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on X, YouTube, and DigPerspectives.com for exclusive content. Right now, it's $3.21 trillion market cap for crypto. The market is up 2.2%. And how good does that feel? We're sitting here at Bitcoin 91,700 plus and Ethereum 3,100 plus. Number 4 spots XRP at 209. Now, we're up 2.3% on the 24, but we're up 2.6 on the 7-day here. So looking at the range of price, we're ranging between 201 and 212, ladies and gentlemen. What I want to tell you about right now is iTrustCapital, baby. iTrustCapital.com/go/XRP Army, or simply click the first link under any one of my videos and get started today. And get started doing what? Well, one, getting your iTrustCapital IRA set up, because it's the best crypto, physical gold, silver IRA on the planet. And as soon as you get that done, open up a PCA, because if you're a long-term crypto holder and investor, you're going to, or even physical gold and silver, you're going to want to be in a PCA account, because it's a closed loop system that helps protect you. Click the link underneath to get started today for both. You're going to love it, and you're going to start getting the peace of mind that you deserve in this space. There's no question about it. Here's the U.S. Treasurer Scott Bessent says thinks 2026 is going to be a great year. I love hearing that from the Treasurer.
I think 2026 is going to be a great year. The president set the table. You know, he's done peace deals, trade deals, tax deals, and the economic policy is really a three-legged stool. As you said, in Trump 1.0, we had the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. So we had tax, but this time it's also deregulation, and the amount of regulation coming off the books, I think we're going to talk about that later, is just astounding. In the U.S., that we've gotten out of the ability to make things and to do things in a productive way. And then the third part is trade. And these trade deals, they are bringing in the trillions of dollars and opening up markets for U.S. companies, bringing manufacturing back to the U.S.
By the way, the manufacturing is automobiles, pharmaceuticals, semiconductor chips, rare earth.
Well, I was just in my hometown of Charleston, South Carolina 3 weeks ago. Boeing, thanks to President Trump, Boeing gave the president the #1 Salesman of the Year award. He sold over 1,000 Boeing planes in the trade deals. Boeing in Charleston was expanding their Dreamliner, the 787 plant, by 50%. 1,000 new high-paying jobs, great benefits, and then all the construction jobs that go with that. And we're just starting to see it. We're just starting to see the liftoff. I think
there you have it right there. So we're going into 2026 soon enough. I like seeing it. And the Clarity Act update. Now, we know there's a lot of people saying, it's not going to happen. And I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying that what they tell us from Senator Tim Scott, who has led the movement for getting the legislation done, certainly in the Senate. And some people have accused Senator Lummis of fumbling the ball here at the last minute, but they haven't said why. But what I do know is that Senator Tim Scott tells us that there's a realistic path to having a markup on December 17th and 18th, or September 17th or 18th, in committee with the votes to get it done. He says, I believe we have 13 Republican votes, and there are 2 or 3 already on the Democrat side who say they are a yes. So there we have that, right? So with that, we just have to wait it out. Now, we do know that this week right here, December 8th, the week of December 8th, was cited as a possible week for markup too, but that may not be on the table at this point. So I'm looking all eyes towards the week of the 17th. And if we don't get it there, we obviously know it's going to be a 2026 issue. Nonetheless, we're watching to see what they do. Come on, Congress. This is where I also urge everybody, get on the phone, call your senator's office, and professionally and politely push them to vote for the market infrastructure bill. Every one call that comes into the office represents 10,000 constituents. That's how Congress looks at it, senators alike. So make sure you give that call. I'll be doing the same. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse on the institutional adoption of stable coins. Oh, the first real use case out here.
The institutional adoption here and what you're seeing in terms of real world payments as well on the stablecoin side?
Well, I mean, the stablecoin point you're making particularly, I think you are absolutely right that as people kind of went risk off, they stayed on stablecoins, which is indicative of, as Rich was describing, the utility, the 24/7 nature of a stablecoin, but it's also trust, where maybe years ago they might have said, I want to get into a fiat that I trust even more, but people are recognizing the stablecoins can be stable and easier to manage. But look, this region in particular leaned into regulatory clarity early. Ripple launched a stablecoin just over a year ago. It's just passed about $1 billion market cap. But now it's also been approved in, whitelisted in Abu Dhabi as well as in Dubai and the DIFC. It's good collateral on various platforms from a lending point of view. And I think that the tailwinds just on solving real problems and good collateral that's easy to move and is more flexible and can be moved multiple times a day even, that wasn't possible before. And I think we're going to see a lot of unlocks that, when Ripple thinks about this, and it's an honor to be up here with these two, we want Solana to do great. We want Binance to do great because I think we're still bringing people into the ecosystem. Stablecoins are one way of doing that. There are going to be lots of other applications, some that Ripple builds, some that are built in the Solana ecosystem, and some that Binance builds.
There you have it right there. The on and off ramps, real use case, right? And look at this. Ripple's real USD supply on Ethereum hits an all-time high of 1.1 billion market cap on Ethereum. I have said this from day one. I have said this from day one. Ethereum will experience a mass exodus soon because once we get past that market infrastructure bill and massive amounts of volume starts to come in on these different protocols, Ethereum included, what happens to the fees? They go up. They go up crazy high, right? And that is unsustainable. And herein lies why I believe Ripple chose to build the interoperability from the XRP ledger to the Ethereum chain for that reason. So that way builders and market makers and people using the network could realize this and use real USD to get themselves off that network and onto an XRP ledger where they can save tons and tons of money. Keep watching this. It's going to be a thing over time, I believe. So, acting chairman of the Commodities Future Trade Commission, Commissioner Caroline Pham, has announced that spot cryptocurrency products will now be allowed to trade on federally regulated U.S. future exchanges for the first time. First of all, shout out to her. What a difference an election makes, right? Gary Gensler squashing the whole thing from the SEC chair. And here we see this. Commissioner Pham has been one of the leaders in advocates for the innovation that we're talking about here. So hats off to her from the interim chair there. We got to keep an eye on where she's going to end up in the private sector. I'm hoping it's Ripple, but we'll see. We will see. But nonetheless, over the weekend, we talked about Bitnomial and the real possibility and power there. Well, I went a little step further with Grok today, and I'm going to give that to you. So Bitnomial becomes the first U.S. regulated exchange to accept stablecoins as margin call, while also launching support for real USD and expanding our accepted collateral to include, you guessed it, XRP. Now, what we went over yesterday is that we understand that because the CFTC has approved Bitnomial, that means they've also approved everything that Bitnomial has on its platform. And we know from the SEC versus Ripple court case that XRP is not a security. We have been asking the question since that ruling, if we know what XRP is not, then the only thing left is to find out what XRP is. So at this point, the fact that the CFTC has approved Bitnomial and allowed real USD, the stablecoin, and XRP to be on the platform tells me that the CFTC sees XRP as a commodity. Brad Garlinghouse sits on the board of Bitnomial too. Don't forget that one. We also know that the DTC can tokenize $100 trillion worth of assets within seconds.
We are the record keeper for quadrillions of dollars of transactions, but for fundamentally assets under record, approximately $100 trillion worth of assets. So unilaterally, without the need to engage anyone else, we can actually make it possible to tokenize $100 trillion worth of value. No
Whoa, that's a lot.
one else can do that efficiently. So we have both a right and a responsibility to do that effectively for the financial markets, because it unlocks so much among those things that it unlocks. So we're building out those rails to do that, to make it so that parties can, within seconds, convert any traditional holding into token form.
Within seconds, he says. Now, we know that the DTCC operates in its own structure and its own system, right? So that is impressive within itself. But Bitnomial and Hidden Road, what about them? I floated the idea, and then I was like, you know what? Let me drill down on this and see if Grok can get us an answer. Will Bitnomial use and work with Hidden Road for settlement? And what about GTreasury? I said, now think Bitnomial and CTFC approval. Oh, and lock in. Well, let's see. I asked, will Bitnomial be used by institutions like Hidden Road and GTreasury? Bitnomial is a U.S.-based CFTC-regulated derivatives exchange, clearinghouse, and brokerage specializing in digital asset futures, options, perpetuals, and starting December 9th, 2025, leverage spot crypto trading for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP. It's vertically integrated for execution, clearing, and settlement, making it one of the first platforms to offer regulated spot crypto under federal oversight. Now, current usage by Hidden Road? Yes. Hidden Road, a multi-asset prime brokerage clearing over $3 trillion annually in FX and fixed income, digital assets, and derivatives, is already using Bitnomial and is poised for deeper integration, ladies and gentlemen. Come on in. I don't know about you. I got goosebumps. Yeah, that ties that in now, doesn't it? Hidden Road, his CEO, has highlighted Bitnomial's role in bridging TradFi and crypto, positioning as a core venue for their $3 trillion in annual clearing. Now, there's no public evidence exists of GTreasury working with Bitnomial at this point, but what it does say, potential for future use. With Ripple's ownership, GTreasury clients could gain access to Bitnomial's regulated spot and derivatives for hedging corporate exposures, FX via XRP. Analysts note this is a missing angle for trillions in corporate cash, but it's speculative without announcement. So there you have that. So we see a possible connection coming in the future, right? But what we do know for certain is Bitnomial and Hidden Road's $3+ trillion annually are already working together, ladies and gentlemen. So the more tokenization that takes place, the deeper the relationship. That's where we're at right there. And doesn't it make sense when you look at the map, when you look at everything that's happening here? Think of it. Rail Financial does 10% of all business-to-business payment stablecoins. Ripple owns it now. So now they're going to be doing 10% of all business-to-business stablecoins. And with the adoption and increasing use of stablecoins, that number's going to go up now, isn't it? Especially as institutions want to work with something that's very transparent and very compliant. And then you have Ripple Prime, right? The prime broker, formerly Hidden Road. Then you have Ripple Custody, Medico, Standard Custody. Then you have GTreasury. Then you have Evernorth, which sits outside of Ripple. And then you have Palisade, the wallet solution. everything from soup to nuts and real USD to stablecoin to get it all done in between, and XRP as well. That's where we are. We need that bill. But what you can see here is at some point, Ripple believes they're getting it because they have spent billions and billions of dollars preparing for the moment when the legislation passes, because none of this can work without the market infrastructure bill. So why would they spend billions of dollars acquiring it unless we were getting it? Come on in. Not financial advice. This is for any XRP bulls out there. This is the block bull. Shout out to you, man. So I've not seen any large influencers talk about this, but it will no doubt be duplicated and passed off as their own work. I never do. I always give this guy credit. He's awesome. Yeah, I like elevating the community. Yellow line is your moving target. And if you've ever hit it again, you best be taking profits, he says. And here is that target. You can see where it becomes at points here. Most of this is resistance, right? Here it's support in the early days, but resistance where everything's underneath at that point. So if we get back to it, my goodness, no telling where we could be depending on the range where it gets back there, right? But here's another one of the same chart, but a channel this time, right? Not just one line of resistance and support, but an actual channel here showing a much larger look at the chart. And if it ever gets to that line, some people will be taking profits. But if it gets to the second line, I bet a whole bunch of people will be. The question is will we get the market infrastructure bill done in a timely fashion? And if so, which line will we hit, if any of them at all? Not financial advice from me or anyone else. It's just my digital perspectives. And we are going into the Freedom Zone today, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my gracious. Click the link underneath the video. Come on in and join us. You can gift the Freedom Zone to a friend or a family member. And you can come on in too. I tell you what, you're going to love what we got for you today, ladies and gentlemen. Boy, today's a good one. I'm going to share you something today. 3 trades that billionaires make before every crash. And they say there's another one coming. Click the link below and join us in the Freedom Zone and come on in.